It was a quiet evening in the small town of Mirinda. The streets were deserted, and the only sound was the occasional barking of distant dogs. A group of 4 friends Arav, Mira, Rohan, and Priya gathered in Rohan's dimly lit living room. They had heard rumors of an old horror game called Kamla that was said to summon spirits. Curious and eager for a thrill, they decided to try it. "Are you sure this is a good idea?" Priya asked nervously, her fingers clutching the edge of a cushion. "It's just a game," Rohan replied with a smirk. "What's the worst that could happen?" Mira pulled out a weathered notebook she had borrowed from the town's library. It contained instructions for the game. According to the legend, Kamla was a tormented spirit who could be summoned by following specific rituals. The game was simple yet eerie. Light a single candle, place it in the center of the room, and call out Kamla's name 3 times at midnight. As the clock struck 12, Arav lit the candle. The flame flickered, casting long shadows on the walls. The room grew colder, and a faint unease settled over them. "Kamla," they said in unison. "Kamla," they repeated, their voices trembling slightly. "Kamla." For a moment, nothing happened. The friends exchanged relieved smiles, convinced it was just an old tale. But then, the candle's flame turned blue, and the room filled with an icy chill. A low, guttural whisper echoed around them. "Who dares disturb me?" Priya let out a small scream, and Arav's face turned pale. They looked around, but there was no one else in the room. The shadows on the walls seemed to move on their own, stretching and twisting unnaturally. "It's just our imagination," Rohan said, though his voice wavered. Suddenly, the candle went out, plunging the room into darkness. Mira fumbled for her phone's flashlight, but the battery had mysteriously drained. The friends huddled together, their breathing shallow. Out of the corner of her eye, Priya saw movement. A shadowy figure stood in the doorway, its face obscured but its eyes glowing faintly red. The figure stepped closer, and the friends froze in terror. "Leave now," the figure hissed. Its voice was cold and sharp, like shards of broken glass. "We're sorry," Mira stammered. "We didn't mean to." Before she could finish, the figure disappeared, and the candle reignited on its own. The flame burned brightly, as if nothing had happened. For a moment, they thought it was over. But the nightmare had only begun. The friends decided to end the game by blowing out the candle and leaving the house. As they stepped outside, they noticed that the streets looked different. The familiar landmarks of their town were gone, replaced by eerie, twisted versions of themselves. The air smelled of decay, and the moon hung unnaturally low in the sky, its surface cracked like shattered glass. "This isn't real," Arav whispered. "It can't be real." They started walking, hoping to find their way back to reality. But with every step, the environment grew more sinister. The trees along the road were bare, their branches resembling skeletal arms reaching out to grab them. Strange whispers followed them, growing louder and more menacing. "Kamla is watching," a voice said, sending shivers down their spines. Desperate, Rohan suggested they return to the house and try to reverse the ritual. They hurried back, but as they approached the door, They saw the shadowy figure standing inside, its glowing eyes fixed on them. "You cannot escape," it said. "You invited me." The friends fell to their knees, pleading for forgiveness. Mira remembered a line from the notebook: "To break the curse, offer a gift of truth." "What does that mean?" Priya asked, her voice quaking. "I think we have to confess something," Mira replied. They each began to speak, revealing secrets they had never shared. Arav admitted to betraying a close friend, Mira confessed to lying about a major incident, Rohan revealed a stolen possession, and Priya shared a hidden fear she had never voiced. As they spoke, the air grew lighter, and the shadowy figure began to fade. The room returned to normal, and the twisted version of their town disappeared. The candle's flame flickered one last time before extinguishing itself. Exhausted and shaken, the friends vowed never to meddle with the supernatural again. They left the house, the weight of their confessions still heavy on their hearts. Yet, as they walked away, a faint whisper followed them. "Kamla never forgets."